It is the night of December 31st, 1899, the turn of the century. Incumbent President William McKinley campaigns for the last time in 1899. He promises a century of greatness. On September 14th, 1901, President McKinley visits Buffalo, New York. The president was shot while giving a speech. 42-year-old Vice President Theodore Roosevelt takes the oath of office, and he becomes the youngest ever president of the United States. The National Park System was created in 1907. In the 1908 election, Republican William Taft is not supported by fellow Republican Teddy Roosevelt. On March 4th, 1909, William Howard Taft is inaugurated. During the 1912 election, incumbent President Taft expected to get all the votes, so he didn't use a lot of money on campaign, so he just sat back and relaxed. And he got 8 electoral votes, and then Democrat Woodrow Wilson was elected. He created the League of Nations, but Congress decided not to join, so he created something, but they ended up not joining. And in 1921, Warren G. Harding was the president. He either died in 1923 because he had a heart attack or he was poisoned. There is a book about it called The Mysterious Death of President Harding. Calvin Coolidge later became the founder of modern-day conservatism, benefiting the business and lowering taxes on the wealthy. President Hoover later had to deal with the greatest economic depression in the history of the world. He did not get reelected because of his handling of the Great Depression, and Democrat Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected. In the mid-30s, the New Deal gave hundreds of jobs to unemployed people. Near the end of World War II, Franklin Delano Roosevelt dies, and Harry Truman becomes president. He leads us through the Korean War. He is followed by NATO leader Dwight Eisenhower. Eisenhower is known as Ike, and his campaign slogan was, "I like Ike and you like Ike." John F. Kennedy was elected president in 1960 and was president during the famous Cuban Missile Crisis. Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Richard Nixon was known for the Watergate scandal, where he sent 7 men to... Wait, let me correct that. He knew that 7 men, paid by the committee to re-elect the president, were burglarized the Democratic Party headquarters at the Watergate Hotel in Washington, D.C. Nixon resigned because he knew about it and he covered up the incident, and Gerald Ford was inaugurated. He fell a lot when he was walking off Air Force One. He was about to meet the Austrian Prime Minister, and he tripped and landed on his head, and the Austrian Prime Minister responded, "Thanks for dropping by." Jimmy Carter became president because Gerald Ford, in a presidential debate, he said, "There is no Soviet domination of Eastern Europe," when there was for 30 years. And Democrat Jimmy Carter was elected president. He didn't really have much success. He tried to negotiate with Congress many times, but most of those times he failed. Ronald Reagan became president and was the conservative icon who served through the 80s. George Bush was the president from 1989 to 1993. He handled the first Gulf War. At that time, they didn't know it was going to be the first one. They thought it was going to be the only one. And Bill Clinton succeeded him. He was the last president of the 20th century. He was the face of new Medicare and Medicaid and health care across America. And his wife, Hillary Clinton, became Secretary of State and is currently running for the office he once held.